still a mess and memories blurred together. It was New Year's Eve. I was driving home late at night with my girlfriend at the time. After a party, we couldn't stay overnight. The roads were almost empty, covered in ice from earlier snowfall, and I was exhausted, but trying to stay awake with the loud music and blasting heat. We were about 10 minutes from home when everything changed. One moment, the road ahead was completely empty. The next, there was a woman standing directly in the middle of the street. She wasn't crossing. She wasn't moving. She was just standing there, facing my car like she had been waiting. I slammed the brakes before my brain fully caught up. That's when I saw the knife in her Honda, large kitchen knife hanging at her side. My headlights lit up her face, twisted like she was crying, screaming, or both. Instinct took over. I swerved to avoid her. As I passed, she suddenly lunged. I heard a loud impact. The tires lost grip on the ice, and the car spun out of control. When we finally stopped, we were facing the opposite direction straight back toward her. She was still there, about 30 feet away, limping toward us, knife still in hand. She was screaming something I couldn't understand. Animal-like sounds that didn't even feel human. Her clothes were torn, her hair matted, and her eyes looked completely empty. When she got close enough, survival kicked in. She somehow closed the distance instantly. She slammed onto the hood, clinging with one hand while stabbing at the windshield with the other. Her face was inches from the glass. She never broke eye contact. I swerved again and again until she finally lost her grip and rolled off the car. I didn't stop. I couldn't. We never told anyone. I fixed the damage a week later. No blood. No news reports. No answers. I still don't know if she survived. And I don't know if not knowing is better or worse. This final story isn't mine, it's my father's. Before he had kids, my parents used to travel often. One winter, my dad and his close friend, Victor, went to a quiet lodge in Vermont to spend New Year's Eve together. The lodge overlooked a frozen lake, surrounded by dense forest and complete silence. That night felt peaceful. Snow fell gently. Soft music played in the background. They sat upstairs, talking casually, waiting for midnight. Then, without any warning, a sudden flash of light appeared across the frozen lake. There was no sound, no clear source, just an intense brightness strong enough to make them turn away. Victor thought he noticed something unusual on the ice. At first, my dad brushed it off. There were no houses nearby, no roads, nothing that should have been there. But moments later, they heard what sounded like a distant voice, faint and unclear. Acting on instinct, they stepped outside and carefully walked onto the frozen lake. From afar, they could make out what looked like a small figure standing still in the distance. Then the light flashed again. When their vision returned, the figure was gone. Shaken, they headed back toward the lodge. On the way, Victor suddenly froze. He claimed he saw a small figure standing inside one of the windows, watching him. My dad didn't see anything, but Victor was clearly frightened. They searched the entire lodge, every room, every corner. Nothing was out of place. That night, my dad woke up more than once, unsettled by strange sounds echoing through the building. By morning, there was no explanation, no natural cause, no logical answer. Years later, when I asked my dad what he believed actually happened, He simply shrugged. I honestly don't know, he said, and somehow that uncertainty stayed with him far longer than fear ever could. Years later, another New Year's Eve brought something just as unsettling, but in a completely different way. I was living in New York then. That night, I went out with friends to a rooftop party in Brooklyn. Around 11:30, I met a girl standing alone near the bar. We started talking, and the connection was immediate, natural, almost magnetic. Her name was Matra, though she joked that people usually called her Maitri. She even wrote it on my hand, so I wouldn't forget. We danced, talked, and when midnight passed, we decided to leave together. We took a ride back to my apartment. The night was great, easy. Conversation, laughter, comfort. Eventually, we fell asleep. When I woke up the next morning, she was gone. At first, I didn't think much of it. People leave early all the time. But then I noticed something strange. My apartment door was still locked from the inside. It's the kind of lock that can't be engaged without a key from the outside. There were no other exits, no open windows, no sign of forced entry. Her clothes were gone. The shirt I lent her was gone. She had clearly been there, but somehow she had left without leaving. I searched the apartment like an idiot, even places that made no sense to check. Nothing. And that's when it hit me. I never got her number. No social media. No last name. Nothing. Later that day, I called my closest friend, Garrett, who lives in Hong Kong. I don't know why. Just felt compelled to. As we talked, he mentioned something strange. He had met a girl the night before. Same situation. Same sudden connection. Same unexplained disappearance. Then he said her name. Metra. Every detail matched. Her background. Her birthday. Even the names of her cats. And when he showed me pictures, there was no doubt. It was the same woman. The timing made it impossible. There was no logical way she could have been in both places. We tried to rationalize it, but every explanation fell apart. We never saw her again. And what unsettles me most isn't fear, it's how real it all felt.